Hi, I'm Trooper Smacka.
Hi, I'm Trooper Wellman,
Please stay tuned for a behind-the-scenes look at being a state trooper.
and together we can make a difference.
Here we are live at the 360 Vegas studios with Trooper Wellman. Trooper Wellman, so, we weren't together for the last couple weeks, and Trooper Thayer was here. We put his motorcycle on. I showed you sent you the videos, right? And it was cool. You know what I mean? We were talking over it and all this stuff. He's very calm.
Yes.
I was telling Johnny after he drove off with the motorcycle, and he's like this, and I'm like, but I wouldn't want to mess with the guy, right? Because you can see that the calmness is there, right? Because he's driving the motorcycle, and you got to be extra calm, and you got to do all these things, and then all of a sudden, but you could turn it on in 1 second, like somebody's a jerk.
Absolutely.
And so we have to remember that we have to be vigilant, and that we have to respect, our friends, our troopers. I got a text message, right? Not a text message. I sent it to Johnny, and I meant to put it on today, but I'm going to read it to you very quickly. And it said on the YouTube, right, for the Trooper Talk, teamwork is king on and off the highways. Drive safe, troopers. And that's from Fred.
Okay.
And so what I'm going to tell you is that people love you guys. Not guys, as in women and men,
Yeah.
right? But people respect the troopers. And so, there might be a small part of people that, do whatever they do or whatever, but people respect our roadways. People respect what we do. And there's a small percentage of individuals that do the speeding and the impaired driving and all these type of things. But we all want to respect the badge, right? So I just wanted to start off with that. I haven't seen you in a while, and the thing is that it's always great to see you, and so the admiration that I think people feel and that they see, and when I talk to them, and when they're always coming into the store and taking the Trooper Talk mugs and all that stuff, is that they really respect what it is that you do.
I'm glad that you got the opportunity to meet Trooper Thayer. And what you got from that is exactly what I wanted you to get. You got to meet an amazing trooper that's squared away, but I really wanted you to meet him as a person because his demeanor, his energy, the way he conducts himself is a great representation of what our agency strives for, and we hope that every trooper carries themselves the way Trooper Thayer does. We're dealing with high-stress situations, but 9 out of 10 times when Trooper Thayer approaches a vehicle, he's very calm, cool, and collected. He lets you know, what the traffic violation was, the reason for the stop, who he is, and, get you to go about your day unless there's further in the investigation. But just like you said, the individual that we're dealing with at that time, they dictate the level that we're going to be at. So if we approach your vehicle and you're at a 10 and you're yelling and you're already frustrated, we're going to try to talk you down and, explain the reason for the stop or take a breath. We'll get through this and I'll get you on your way. But if you don't de-escalate, we're going to have to rise to that level as well because we have to maintain control of the situation. And so that's something that's very important for people to remember, that it's okay to be frustrated, but just take a breath and we'll get through it together. A common reaction we get is people get startled, when the lights and siren get activated and they pull to the right shoulder and we approach. Sometimes they're nervous, they're shaking. We may even address it and be like, are you okay? Your hands are shaking. That's not uncommon to see just because it's not common to get pulled over for some individuals. And we'll get through it together. We'll tell you, can you go ahead and grab this item, that item? It's for the reason for the stop, and we'll get you on your way. But if you escalate, then unfortunately we have to escalate the situation to a level to try to maintain control and get everybody to calm back down because we don't want anything to escalate. And I just think Trooper Thayer is a great representation of what we strive for to teach our new troopers and officers coming up in the ranks and stuff. So yeah, I'm glad you got to meet him.
Yeah, and when I watched that show, on the when they on the live police people, right? All the time, at the end of the stop or whenever they're, like they come back to the host or whatever, and he always says, that person didn't help the situation, right? Like last week, the officer came on the right-hand side to talk to the person, and the guy started screaming, "You have no right to look at me on the right-hand side. You have to come to," and it's like before the person already got there, they're already, it's already this situation.
Correct. They're defensive
And
now.
so it's very important that when it is that we have interaction, for whatever the reason, that we just have to be as calm as possible and as respectful as possible, because it's not helping the situation.
Right. And I want people to know that we're not oblivious that there's maybe a trooper had a bad day, and customer service is always a priority of ours, but the main priority is to make sure the public is safe, right? And if somebody, a trooper has a bad day or they maybe aren't the nicest, just know we are wearing body cams. We have a dash cam on our vehicle in the front, and we have our body cam that we wear on the front of our uniform, and they're on there for a reason. And, it works both ways. So we need to make sure that we're treating our community members with respect, as well as, we would love it in return. So it's a two-way street.
Yeah, and that's what they always talk about too. You know what I mean? They always go, look, thank goodness we have the body cam, because so somebody can't say anything. And
I
so
love the body cam.
It's very important. What
Yeah,
I mean?
and especially like if somebody was ever to say I mistreated them or wanted to challenge something, I love the fact that we can pull the tape and be like, this is how I said it, or this is how you said it, and we can learn from it and we can grow from it. I think the body cameras are fantastic.
Yeah. So thanks for being here. We love it that you're back and all that type of stuff.
Thank you for having me.
Right, Johnny? Yeah. All right, great. We get a second grade on that one, right? All right. Slow down, buckle up, don't drive in flooded areas, and never drive impaired. So this weekend, I saw, luckily for us, we were not in the flood zone. Right, like in this, they had a sinkhole down the road and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily for us, we weren't really in the flood zone. But I saw buses that had water above the windshield, and they were driving.
I saw that one too.
Right?
That's crazy.
And so, here's the thing: when there's water, you shouldn't drive. You know what I mean? And so people are always going to challenge it. We had the child who lost his life, because he was decided to go under the raft.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Unfortunate.
we have to be respectful of the water.
Right. Summertime is our monsoon season in Las Vegas, and this was a prime example of we were all preparing for Hurricane Hillary, and that didn't really, thank goodness, do too much to our urban area,
right.
But our rural areas got hit with it, and then especially like Mount Charleston and stuff. But this storm was intense this weekend, and it just kept coming. And although we are, in a drought and we want water, I mean, that was intense. We wanted it in moderation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everybody, we just kept putting out safety messages, slow down, buckle up, don't drive in flooded areas, because you were going to get stuck. And, I mean, I always tell you, seeing is believing. And there was tons and tons of coverage on this, of cars being stuck, people being trapped, utilizing first responders and resources to get them out, when it all could have been prevented if they just wouldn't have driven through the flooded area. This right here was a trailer that had overturned. You can't see it in this photo, but a trailer had overturned, and everyone was okay. But the backup, this was I-11 by Horizon Ridge, and the backup just went for miles because we had to merge everyone over to one travel lane, and it's a very utilized highway that people use a lot, and so it's just one of the examples of the things we were dealing with throughout the weekend.
And we talk about the roads, how they're slippery, all these things are the factor, and then that rain was craziness.
Yeah.
And so I could only imagine, because once in my life I was traveling down the highway in the car, and it started this pouring type of rain, and I had to drive through it was craziness. And so I could only imagine, like, you're on the freeway and then it starts and you're going 65 miles an hour and then this happens.
Right.
And so this is going to happen again. And so people just need to be respectful of the
Take
water.
caution. Yeah.
Take caution, right?
Don't even put yourself in the situation. If you can stay home or, shelter in place, do so. I mean, they had Burning Man. Everyone was stuck. They're still clearing people out of there.
Stuck.
Yeah, stuck. You couldn't get out. And there was over 50,000 people. And good thing I have some friends that were actually out there, and I was checking in on them. And, like, do you guys have water? Do you have food? And luckily they were okay. But
Like
that
6 feet of mud or something.
Yeah, it was wild. And so.
And luckily I wasn't there. You know what I'm
Me
saying?
too, yeah.
I was in the shelter in place, as they say. You know what I'm saying? I just want to say one thing. I couldn't even possibly fathom the fact of being impaired and then driving in that rain.
Absolutely not.
You know
Nope.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like.
Come on. And I know that the world doesn't stop, and I know that people are here to have a good time, and, we have shows and concerts and this and that, but you're just adding another risk to your life by getting impaired and driving in inclement weather. Like, you shouldn't be driving impaired anyway.
Right.
But the fact that you want to do it now with the inclement weather is just,
Let's get drunk and drive the big truck in the water.
it's just crazy.
All right. Parole and probation Summerlin embedded officers were out this morning for coffee with a cop.
So our parole and probation officers, they're really involved with our community members, and a majority of them are actually posted up. We have 1 to 2 officers at every Metro substation in town, and they team up, and they do amazing things in our community, whether that be giving back or getting individuals that, are bringing poison into our communities or causing danger for others, and they get them out of our community, right? But this is just one of the examples of where our parole and probation officers, I feel like they're kind of hidden heroes. And so we want to really start highlighting our parole and probation division more, especially on our social media, now that we're just Nevada State Police. We really want to start highlighting them. And this was one of those examples of where they got to interact with our community members, tell them who we are. If anybody has an interest in giving back to the community and wanting to be a part of a bigger picture, parole and probation might be where it's at. If you have any questions or you want to ride along and see what it's about, NevadaStatePolice.com. You can speak to our recruiters and we can get that going for you.
Yeah, we had the deputy chief on.
Yep.
Very respectful and really excited to be on.
Yeah.
Like, and talked and all that type of stuff. And, I sent a text to Captain Munoz and asked him to come on to Trooper Talk in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, cool.
To talk about, how the roadways and all that, but, the hope for prisoners. And, here's the thing. People make mistakes in life. And just because somebody makes a mistake in life doesn't mean that their life is over.
Or a bad person.
Or a bad person. And so what we have to do is we have to look at that mistake and then sort of, move on to the next phase of someone's life without what it is that they did and sort of just learn from that, I guess.
Yeah, I think I told you once one of our parole and probation officers gave me an analogy, and I thought it was great. Her name's Officer Smith. She said, if you're out in the lake or the ocean, I'm going to come out and I'm going to offer you a raft. And if it's up to you to grab it and let me get you to shore and, help you set you up for success, right? Let me save your life with you. But if you don't grab that raft, she's going to move on to the next person that is going to grab the raft. And it all comes down to choice. And if you want to make these right choices and set yourself up for success and to stop making the wrong choices or the bad choices and putting yourself in situations where you're looking at possibly being incarcerated. So it's all about choice.
All about choice. And if something happens, they're there to talk to you.
And to offer resources and help you.
Resources, what
yeah,
I mean?
set you up for success.
Mm-hmm.
We're all about rehabilitating individuals back into society.
Right.
It's never too late.
Never too late. Officer McClarty.
Mm-hmm.
We love Officer McClarty, right? Very funny, but he's part of parole and probation,
Yep.
right? He drives one of the cars that you don't notice.
Yep, they
That-
take unmarked. Yep.
Unmarked, and that people will pass him at 100 miles an hour. And but the thing is that he can make a phone call on the radio. On top of which he's here for everybody who wants to talk and wants to join Nevada State Police on Saturdays, Sundays. We should ask him if he was out there in the monsoon. Like was he doing running or something like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That would be very funny. I'm gonna ask you that the next time.
enjoying the cooler weather.
Right. So what were you doing during the monsoon, Officer McGlarty? You know what I'm saying? That's very funny. Maximum enforcement. Oh, this is cool. 3 states working together.
So we teamed
Wow.
up with California Highway Patrol and Arizona Highway Patrol,
Arizona.
and it was a 3-state trifecta initiative where for Labor Day weekend, from Friday all the way till Monday, we brought in extra resources, grant funded, to really do a maximum enforcement to save lives and get impaired drivers off the roadway. But we did multiple videos to showcase it, and we wanted the public to know that we are going to be out there in numbers because we wanted everyone to have a safe holiday weekend. And it's unfortunate that we even have to do that because people should just know to plan ahead and be responsible. But you know, the reality we live in is speed and impairment are our 2 biggest contributing factors in Nevada for our fatalities, to include California and Arizona. So, you know, how do we fix that? And this is one of those situations where we're trying to fix that, and we're trying to prevent any more fatalities from happening. Plus, it's a great opportunity to join forces with our surrounding states and agencies because we all work together. And this one, the goal in mind was to save lives, getting impaired drivers off the roadway. And then we had the storm, so then that kind of, wrinkled a couple things. But, you know, we were still out there, and if anything, it might have just increased the danger a little more because there was more crashes, more people putting themselves in danger just because of the inclement weather. So there's a lot of different factors.
I don't know anybody from the Arizona, from the state troopers, but the CHP, the commander from CHP is a friend of mine, and he's part of the IPOF. And the old commander was also, because he was very dear friends with Eric, and Eric brought CHP into the IPOF.
Yeah, CHP's great.
And so they're fantastic. And
Yeah.
so, like, you know, it's got to be very cool to have the same common goal and sort of join forces, like you're saying, and meet the different troopers. Like it's I don't know, it's just sort of like a cool experience.
Yeah,
you
it's
know
the
what I'm saying?
brotherhood and the sisterhood, and it's bigger than just Nevada. And you know, we all making these connections with different agencies. You know, we can brainstorm together. Like, what are some of the things you guys are seeing? What are some of the initiatives you guys are taking to prevent things from happening, traffic safety? Because we all have the same goal in mind, and that's to save lives through educating the motoring public on traffic safety. And so it's just cool when you combine forces to think a bigger picture.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's killer. I love it. I love it. Great idea. Oh, Johnny's video. Oh, is this one of your videos? Oh, look at that.
I know. So CHP actually did that video, but this was just one of the examples of where we all met. We met
That's
up at a
cool.
specific location, and we wanted to promote the event. You know, they have the chopper. We don't have that.
The chopper.
So it's cool. But yeah, the air unit was up doing radar enforcement. It was the eye in the sky. I mean, it was a big initiative this weekend, and you know, hopefully we get those stats to you guys and we'll post them so you can see what the efforts were. Again, inclement weather probably played a really big factor, but and tied up a lot of resources. But ultimately, everybody was on the same page, and we all wanted to promote traffic safety this weekend.
I wonder if they have a boat crew too. You know what I'm saying?
They have a lot.
Yeah.
CHP has a lot of stuff.
The I forgot what I was gonna say. I don't know. No, it's something about CHP. All right, we'll move on. I forgot what it was. I don't know. You know, sometimes that happens, Johnny. You know what I'm saying? It was a question that involved you, but I'm gonna remember what it was. I don't. Great. I know. I don't remember what it was either. Nevada State Police honored the life of 9-year-old Bianca who died in a tragic accident.
So I got a phone call from Nevada Donor Network, and this little girl, Bianca, was 9 years old, and it was just a freak accident. She got electrocuted by touching, I believe it was a swamp cooler in her family garage. Just tragic accident, right? Her family made the difficult decision to make her a donor, And through her donation, she just saved the lives of multiple people. And actually, the little girl's wish was to be a police officer when she grew up. So Nevada Donor Network called us, and obviously, you know, we're very connected to them. Not only did the little girl Bianca want to be a police officer, so we wanted to make sure we honored that. But her honor walk, which is when you make that difficult decision, but amazing, like heroic decision to give a second chance at life to someone else, they do this thing called a donor walk, and they line the hallways of the hospital all the way to the surgery room. And people, we usually have military, we have law enforcement, we have all the doctors and nurses. They salute or they clap or they just stand, you know, like it's an honor walk because you're giving somebody else the gift of life. And so her honor walk was the same day as Trooper Micah Mays. And so we are forever connected to this family, not only because we share a similar story, but, you know, we lost someone that we cared dearly for the same day that they did. And we're all connected through the gift of donation. And so we had a plaque made for her, a Nevada State Police honorary plaque with her name on it. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there because I was at another work event. But I'll tell you what, like, something that's very special that I see in this photo is not only are we stepping up to be there for a family that we just met because we heard their story, but I have a lieutenant, a trooper, a captain, a lieutenant colonel, a major. They all went there to that event. They dropped everything in their schedules to go to this event because I wrote them an email and told them the story of Bianca. And they said, okay, tell us where to be and when. Didn't matter. They showed up. My lieutenant colonel even wrote like a 3-page speech to say to the family, took time out of his day because he wanted them to know that, you know, her gift and what they're going through. We mourn with them. We know what they're feeling, and they're now part of the Blue family. It just speaks volume to our agency, and I don't know how else to explain it. It's just that I'm so honored to be a part of the Nevada State Police, because we step up in moments like this, and when your command steps up like that, I just think it speaks volume. It's not like I grabbed a bunch of troopers and was like, hey, can you guys be here at this time? Like, I have an event, and they're like, what's it for? And we scattered at the last minute. Like, this was put together, and everyone made a point to be there. So, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's just amazing.
Well, you know what's very cool is that I was, and I don't say it to be silly, I was thinking the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I know I don't know all of them, but I know some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that I do know, I know who's there. And so I saw the same thing, right? And it does speak about the leadership, right? Like that's what's important.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like
they're constantly leading from the top.
It comes from the top down, and so like it doesn't make a difference, and so like that they're there, and so like it's very special. It's very special about the story, and I didn't know that about an honor walk, and that's wow.
It's a private thing. They film it, but it's only for the family. Like that, you'll never really see that on the news. I think I've seen one on the news before, for a young boy that was, I think he was in a car crash or something.
I would want it on the news, Johnny.
It's a family preference, right? So
you make sure that they film me, and then you put it on the news.
But I do want to say that there was other agencies there. Obviously, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. This little girl did live in Arizona, so Arizona Department came out. But I will tell you that Nevada State Police showed up in numbers, and I just think it speaks volume to our agency and what we stand for, and being there, for our community.
100%. And we shout out to her for we were able to, not we, you were able to fulfill her dreams, even though she's not on the planet anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she'll forever live on, and now she shares the anniversary date with Trooper Micah May, so we will always recognize her on that day as well.
Talk to us about this. This is somebody's house, right?
Yes. So obviously Hurricane Hillary came with impact, especially to our Mount Charleston, Lee Canyon area. We have a lot of residents up there. It washed away a lot of roadways. Clark County, Nevada is running point on this, so they're constantly posting videos and photos to update community members on what's going on. But it's all hands on deck. Everybody is working as 24/7 to try to get these roadways fixed, cleared. Resources are being provided to residents up there. They do have access to their homes. But other than that, pretty much the mountain is closed off until we can get this everything fixed to make it safe for residents to go back up there.
Yeah.
But again, always look at the updates on Clark County, Nevada, or on Twitter.
Yeah. Now I remember what I was going to ask you, and it didn't have to do with Johnny, but I remember. Because I was going to ask him, because he didn't probably put up the graphic, but you're allowed to now travel on the shoulder.
So that was specifically, we opened a third lane yesterday
Right.
for Labor Day.
Is that's what I was going to ask you? Is that just for the Labor Day, or is that like for every weekend?
Just for the Labor Day, and you need to make sure you look at the signs and when we have it open. Because if you're caught traveling in the
Right.
shoulder and it's not that time, you will be issued a citation. But we utilized this because we knew we were going to have a high. Last year we had probably backup of 10 to 20 miles of backup of people coming to Nevada and leaving and going to California. When we utilized that third lane yesterday, we had 4 miles of backup. That was it. So it worked tremendously, just adding another traffic lane. Traffic was still, going not full speed, not 70 miles per hour, but it was still moving, and it worked tremendously. So yes, on these big holidays, start looking for the signs. We will start posting on our social media handles, but the electronic display boards will be posted to say, utilize this third lane. So we have things that are posted indicating that it is open to be used to keep traffic moving.
So it was like Friday to Monday or something like that, or whatever but it's for a couple days or whatever it is, and then it's done.
Yeah, it was only for yesterday. But we do have the ability to utilize it when we see fit. So if we felt Saturday or Sunday was too heavy, we could have utilized it. But we would need to put all those signs and everything in place to let people know. We let everyone know on Monday, on Labor Day, that it was open.
Because I saw that on the news, and I wanted to ask you about it because, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Figured when somebody has a flat tire, what does it do? Go into the desert now?
Kind of, but we do have such a wide shoulder in the desert that you can do that on those roadways, on that stretch of the 15, and that's why we're utilizing the paved shoulder, because it's enough room to safely operate as a travel lane, and there's still a dirt shoulder, or the dirt area that if you needed to pull off, you could.
And so if you got pulled over, you would actually pull into the dirt area then, right?
Yeah, especially if that lane's in movement, you wouldn't pull to the shoulder. But again, we would get on our loudspeaker. We would let you know, like, pull all the way to the dirt. We'd make sure we got you to the shoulder safely.
Right, okay. Cruising the open road is a Labor Day tradition. However, riding after drinking... Yeah, I couldn't even imagine. First of all, I couldn't imagine drinking. Second of all, I couldn't imagine drinking, getting behind the wheel, and being impaired. That has 4 wheels. I couldn't imagine getting behind the wheel, being impaired, being on a motorcycle, and driving.
Absolutely. I have no idea how people can even do that and balance the bike.
Yeah, balance the bike. I mean, I never even thought of that, right? Like, you're driving, you're like, ooh, and you just fall over.
Majority of the time I've ever responded to a motorcycle down, if they were impaired, I've been doing this 12 years now, and I have never stopped somebody that was impaired on a motorcycle, thank goodness. But every time I come across somebody that's crashed, how am I trying to say this? Somebody that was on a motorcycle that was impaired, I have never not had them crash. That my interactions, they always crash, and it's always, lives are on the line, because how can you ride a motorcycle and be impaired? And really anything, you should never get behind the wheel of anything where your life or anyone else is in danger. But
2 wheels is...
It's absurd.
Listen, I saw that Trooper Thayer, scoot out of here on his little motorcycle, right? And he puts on the helmet, right? And you're like, this guy's like going to war, right? He's got his helmet, he's got his guns, he's got his thing and his spiel and the thing and all these radars and moving and you're like, where's, you know what I mean? Like,
he's got to focus, like he has to be in tune on what he's doing, because there's so many, gadgets on that bike.
I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like it's.
Not everyone can do it.
No.
That's why the Motor Squad is very they feel very proud when they say that they're on the motors, because not only is motor school hard, once you complete that, but just riding on a bike and utilizing that as your office and your day-to-day patrol vehicle, like, woo, mad props to them.
He had his, you could tell because this time he had his own motorcycle.
Oh,
Right, so he was like, he says, oh, about the motorcycle and all this, and then he zooms out of here, and then he stops, and I guess he must have to log on or whatever, from his little computer, and he gets in his log on, and then he's in his zone, right? And so, anyway,
yep. They're hard chargers.
We don't want people drinking and driving.
No, ever.
But these, we want to keep showing these graphics so maybe somebody will get the message.
Yep.
There's another one. Motorcycle riders are 28 times more likely to die. Well, that's lovely.
I mean, it's just reality, right? You're not protected by doors and windows and things like that. You're
or jerky drivers that want to race you, or that try to cut in front of you. Like, you know what? I don't know. I wonder, because a motorcycle is so fast, right? That I wonder, and I'm not mentioning any car names or trucks or whatever, right? But I wonder how many people try to race motorcycles, like just to be silly. You know what I'm saying? Like they come up to me in the car and they're like, rah, 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 and you're like, just drive.
Mm-hmm.
I just wait, just keep going. You know what I mean? Just don't bother me. You know what I'm saying? But I wonder how many people pull up to the motorcycle in like the fast car and they're like, yeah, come on. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. Yeah, even if you do everything right on a motorcycle, if one person that's not paying attention cuts in front of you and you have to react quickly, your odds are just way more increased of possibly being ejected or fishtailing, like losing control of your bike, putting the bike down, trying to abruptly stop. It's a totally different game. So when you ride, you have to be fully focused, constantly thinking of up ahead, looking up ahead, thinking about if that car pulled in front of me, where am I going to go? Like you have to be an aggressive, like a defensive rider if you're going to ride a bike, especially in town here.
Yeah, I can only imagine. You know what I'm saying? I first of all, I couldn't do it, but second of all, I don't think I don't know. That would be very scary. I don't even think I would ride a bicycle on the sidewalk because I would afraid somebody's going to jump on the sidewalk.
Riding is very enjoyable. Just make sure that you wear all your gear, your helmet. If you have reflector gear, it's great so people can see you more. Gloves, if you can, wear your chest plate, all that to prevent any of, any fatalities from happening if you were to go down. So,
they have to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
True woman. So we finished already, and it was very fast. We thank you for coming. We greatly appreciate. We greatly appreciate the fact of that when you're not here, that somebody is able to come and people are really responding to the Trooper Talk, and people are watching it, and they're liking it. And I really believe that we're making a difference.
I agree.
And so we have a lot of good things coming up that are, on the calendar for you and stuff like that. And so we just want people to now know that it's September. It's starting to get a little bit cooler. I don't know when it is, but I think like in the next couple of weeks, it starts getting darker at night.
Yeah.
Like maybe October, right? Like in the next 20, 30 days.
We're going to fall back.
Oh,
our clocks will go back.
When is that? That's soon, right?
I'm not sure the date on it, but yeah, we spring forward, we fall back.
Fall back. Well, you get an extra hour of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much. We can sit here and keep talking, Johnny, but we won't.
Thank you for having me, Neil.
Thanks again.
It's always a pleasure.
All right, see you later.